Araw mga kabugtaw, ang pag-usapan natin ngayon ay opium of the people. Religion as opium of the people. Alam naman natin, opium ay isang droga, no? Usapan natin later yung mga epekto niya. Anyway, kaya ko ito napili ngayon kasi napanood ko yung video ni Professor Jeffrey Sachs ng Columbia University. Si Jeffrey Sachs ay isa sa mga highly regarded na ekonomista at strategist, political economic strategist at naging advisor sa maraming presidente, maraming world leaders sa mundo. No? Napakatalino itong taong to kahit ako hangang-hanga ako dito. No? Graduate siya ng Harvard University. Nagturo din siya sa dati sa Harvard. And sinabi niya, a new era is dawning. No? Because the last 5 centuries was a European era. No? 1500s, the age of colonization, the European fashioned the world through its image and likeness. And basically, Europe is Christian. No? Since the birth of Christianity, after the ancient Egyptian Empire, the Akkadian, pag sinabi mo Akkadian, Babylonia, Sumer, no? Ngayon, present-day Iraq, that's the Akkadian region. Then Christianity was born and it spread through all over the world, the Western world, particularly Europe. And Europe was really built by Christian ideals. That's why the 5 centuries European era was also a Christian era in general and Catholicism in particular. At sinabi ni Professor Jeffrey Sachs, at ito medyo nabigla ako at na pagtanto ko, oo nga pala, no? Tama siya, tama siya. That the last 5 centuries of European Christian Catholic era were centuries marked by cruelty, marked by slavery, marked by oppression, no? Marked by colonialization and plunder. No? And the funny thing about it is because the main tenet of Christianity is love thy neighbor. And it was very, very far from this European Christian Catholic plunder was very far from the Christian commandment of love thy neighbor. And we saw that in the age of colonialization, religion and the colonizer travel together, they go together. No? First, you will come with the Bible, with the missionary, then come the soldiers, and comes and followed by exploitation and plunder and murder of the colonized people, no, in the name Christianity. Kaya nga sa Japan noon bawal yung mga Christian missionaries kasi alam ng emperor na diyan nagsisimula yan sa mga misyonaryo tapos susunod na yung mga sundalo. Kaya nga maraming na martir noon. In fact, the first Filipino martyr si San Pedro Calungsod. Isa sa mga namartir doon. Ganon din si sino ba yung sorry, hindi pala si San Pedro. Pangalawa pala yun. Ang una sa kanila, San Lorenzo Ruiz. San Lorenzo Ruiz yun, na martir sa Japan yun. Si Calungsod data sa Marianas, ano? If I remember it right. Anyway, pero yun, may movie noon, nakalimutan ko yung pangalan ko, grabe, yung torture yung mga Christian sa Japan, mga pari, pinapaapakan sa kanila yung cross. They were really rejected. Hypothetical question, what if Japan became a Catholic nation? Do you think Japan will be as progressive as it is now? Because up to this day, many Catholic nation, former Catholic colonies remain poor, Latin American countries, and of course, the Philippines. Very Catholic, very poor, very corrupt. No? There must be something wrong. Until, of course, Karl Marx in around the anong year ba yun? 18, namatay siya 1883. He lived from 1818 to 1883. Although this book was not published until 1927, but he finished writing this in 1843, yung contribution to Hegel's philosophy of right. It's actually a critique of Hegel's philosophy of right. Kaya alam mo yung Hegel's philosophy of right, napakakapal yun eh. Nabasa ko yun isang winter kasi nung nag-aaral ako sa Belgium kasi alam niyo na kung winter, ang hirap lumabas, masakit sa katawan yung lamig. So doon ka lang sa loob. Basa lang, basa. No? Anyway, Christmas break ninyo. No? And I finished it in a few days, yung Hegel's philosophy of right, which is it's a long story, but it's one of the book that describe reason as the foundation of civilization. And Marx critique that work of Hegel. No? He focused more on individual and this so-called institutions that are product of reasons are actually became oppressive institution. Like, for example, the laws, no? It's supposed to be the ordinance of reason promulgated for the common good. Pero nakita ni Marx, the laws has become a pedagogical apparatus of the ruling class. May halimbawa, land reform, bakit hindi nag-progress Pilipinas? Pinatay sa Kongreso, bakit sinabas sa Kongreso? Iba yung mga landlord, as simple as that. Sa contribution to Hegel's philosophy of right, diyan unang na, nasabi ni Marx na ang religion daw is the opium of the people. Bakit? Because it numb the people. Kasi ang opium may pitong epekto yan eh. Or pitong characteristics. No? Una, it is an hallucinogen, no? For hallucination. No? Parang nagtitripping ka. Hallucinogen. Ganon din sa religion. Nahahay ka. No? Second, opium is a stimulant. Kaya hyper ang tao. Ganon din sa religion. Nakita natin yan. Dancing, jumping, clapping, or pahay. In fact, grade school pa ako noon. May mga nakita ko mga billboards doon sa Bacolod. Be high on God and not with drugs. And imagine, high school pala ako, then naisip ko, what's the difference between being high with God and being high with drugs? Siguro sa high with drugs, may physical, debilitating physical effect, ano? Pero ganun pa rin yun. No? Yung mga high sa God, nagmuramentado for their faith, if their faith is challenged. No? And we have seen so much violence in history because of this highness with God. Opium is a panacea, cure for all, kasi ninanam ka eh. Ginagawang manhid ang senses mo. So, wala kang mararamdamang sakit. Ganon ang religion, parang it's a denial about the suffering. Particularly Catholicism because of the passion of Jesus of Nazareth. No? So, and okay lang if you are suffering. Anyway, something better awaits you after the suffering. Kaya nga, Marx accused Christian as interested in the pie in the sky when they die. So doon, no? But more progressive theology nowadays think of salvation as integral, meaning on earth as it is in heaven. Kaya nga, the Filipino theologian Joe de Mesa, graduate of the vein, translated salvation into Filipino as ginhawa. Ay nakaginhawa rin, ay nabayaran din ng kuryente, nabayaran ng renta, nakabili ng gamot, nabayaran ng hospital, nabayaran ang tuition. No? So, nakapamalengke, no? Yung nakaginhawa. No? Because salvation is here now on earth as it is in heaven. Di yung pag namatay ka, uh, punta ka ng langit o punta ka ng impyerno. Yeah, that's another story. Kasi ako, hindi ako naniniwala sa mga ganyan. Langit, impyerno. They are products of cultural imaginations. No? And I believe in recycling or reincarnation. There's no suffering. There's no punishment after death. Kahit si Edward Casey, sinasabi yan. Ano lang, the soul will just go through a certain purification or journey, but that's another story. Fourth, yun nga, no, para sa hallucinogen, stimulant, para sa sedative. Ninanam tayo. Religion, like opium, is sedative. Ito yung critique ni Marx. Kasi okay lang, no? It's the wrong interpretation of the Beatitudes addressed in the Anawim. No? Wrong interpretation of the Anawim also. Anawim, ibig sabihin yung mga inapi, no? Yung mga naghihirap, no? Ah, religion sedates them, okay lang, we're suffering. But the critique of Marx is that because of being a sedative, people will no longer question the cause of their suffering, especially of financial poverty. Ay, kapalaran eh. No, itong tinakda ng Diyos, tinadhana ng Diyos, kapalaran. No? Ah, bahala na, basala. Tumingin tayo sa swerte, kaya ang haba ng pila ng loto dito sa Pilipinas. No? But they will never question, they will never criticize their religion or question them or question. Kaya nga, dyan si Marx sa magaling yung ano niya, yung structural analysis. Uh, why there's so much poverty, the class divide, the class struggle between the uh, bourgeois and the proletariat. No? So you have to, it has to be questioned. No? What is the source of suffering, which is structural injustice. No? Um, Fifth, it is endemic. Endemic. Laganap. No? Take note, si March 1813 to 1883, the first Opium War between the Chinese was and the British was around 1842. In that time, laganap talagang opium. In fact, at that time, mas ano daw eh, mas mura ang opium kaysa sa alcohol. Mas mahal ang alcohol. And sa Europe, nung nakarating sa Europe, it became a fancy drugs for the elite, no? Itong opium. So, parang religion din. Ang daming religion eh. Turo-turo. Ang dami dyan. Okay? Six, opium is of course addictive. Nakaka-addict. No, kasi sa oras mag-high ka, because of the ano bang chemical ng opium, pag nag-down ka naman, hahanapin mo siya. Ganon din ang religion. No? Nakikita mo rin sa mga habits ng tao, sa pananamit nila, pananalitan nila. Kaya ako nga sinabi ko nga, pag may kausap ako na ang bunganga ay puro Lord, Lord, my first instinct is run. No? Because the most hypocritical people I've known are people who are very religious. And the most righteous people I've known, righteous and not self-righteous, are people who have no religion. No? Totoo yan. Sa Europe, wala namang religion, but their sense of social justice is very, very high. Ano? Eh, dito, napaka-religyoso. Pero bakit ang daming corrupt, daming magnanakaw, daming mandaraya sa ang kiluhan sa tindahan, ah, may daya. Ang metro ng taxi, may daya. Lahat may daya. Pero these are very religious people. Nagsisimba to. Mga politiko nagsisimba din. May pray over pa. No? Pero tapos nagnanakaw sa bayan. No? And seven, uh, it is psychedelic. No? Parang ang pagkakaiba ng hallucinogenic, hallucinate ka. No? Itong psychedelic naman, it creates a non-ordinary mental change of people, or to put it simply, tripping. Itong pagiging nagtitripping ka. No? Ano bang trip mo? Walang basagan ng trip. No? Or may sarili ka ng mundo. So, ganon ang epekto ng opium, ganon din ang epekto ng reliyon. At na beses ko na sinabi sa atin dito sa Bugtaw na as long as the Filipino people are very religious, the Philippines will never progress. Kasi they're waiting for growth. Tingnan niyo yung mga socialist country. The best example is China. And the socialist country, so even social democratic countries are also socialist. And mostly sa Europe din ha. Ito yung unang, because wala nang religion sa Europe, patay ng religion sa Europe. In fact, pumunta ako noon sa Antwerp, sa Belgium, sa St. Paul Cathedral kasi gusto ko makita yung painting ni Vincent Rubens, The Assumption. Kasi naalala ko ng bata ako, nanonood ako ng Dog of Flanders bago mamatay si Melo, yung amo ni Patras. Gusto niya rin makita yung painting ni Vincent Rubens na of The Assumption. 14th century yun ha. Ang painting, but The Assumption is an 18th century doctrine. Anyway, yun, wala na. Kasi after the French Revolution, dahil din, grabe din ang pag-aabuso ng simbahang Katoliko noon. Kaya during the French Revolution, they're part of the aristocracy. Kasama sila doon sa mga kinatay, binitay, no? Gaba sa kanila, no? Dahil mga abusado, mga obispo, mga abusado, mga pare, no? Mga madre, mga abusado sila. Kaya kinatay sila nung French Revolution. After that, the religiosity declined and reason, the age of reason, started in Germany, no, uh, begin to prosper. No? So reason over superstition. No? So mga European countries na socialism orientation, particularly social democrats, are also very progressive. Sweden, Denmark. Kung may makita kayo dyan sa Facebook, happiest country, healthiest country, safest country, majority of them are social democratic countries. Australia is of them. Japan is of them. Canada is of them. New Zealand is is of them. Very, very progressive, no? And tenet ng social, because of them is also along the socialist life. And tenet of the socialism is the internationale. At sa internationale, sinasabi diyan, oops, luloko na naman itong camera ko. Sa internasyonale, sinasabi diyan, no? Walang maaasahan, bathala o manunubos, no? Walang maaasahan na Diyos o bathala, no? Tayo, no? This is our mess. We have to fix it. Hindi yung you wait for Godot to fix everything. That's not work that way. That's a very inadequate cosmology o pananaw sa buhay, pananaw sa mundo, pananaw sa kalikasan, no? Although religion is the opium of the people, pero may liberative aspect din ang religion. Religion, Christianity, that is an adequate reading and following of the message of Jesus, the found, no, where Christian, the one who inspired Christianity. Kasi Jesus of Nazareth, Christianity, and Catholicism, these are three different things. No? In the first place, Jesus did not intend to put up a church according to Bible scholars. No? His intention was to revive the 12 tribes of Israel. If ever there is a Catholic Church right now and churches, it's really because of St. Paul. No, but it was not in the intention of Jesus to put up a church. That's why Jesus of Nazareth, Christianity, Catholicism, these are three different things. You know? May kasabihan nga, when Buddha dies, the schools are born. These are already interpretations. No? Anyway, uh, when liberation theology was born in the 80s in Latin America, spearheaded by Gustavo Gutierrez, whom I met personally, I attended his lecture in Louvain, Leonardo Boff, marami pa mga Latin American liberation theology, they were suppressed by the Vatican. Ayaw talaga ng Vatican that religion will be liberating. Gusto ng Vatican status quo. Because throughout history, religion was used to protect the status quo. The rebellious, those who question, are condemned and you will go to hell. Ala ka. So religion can be used as an ideology to legitimize a particular interest. No? So religion can be negative, religion can be positive also, especially if religion is liberative. The reason why the Vatican condemned liberation theology because mga Marxists daw. Well, actually, like Gustavo Gutierrez, they just use Marxist analysis to understand society because it's an excellent analysis, no? But even the message of Jesus of Nazareth is that, no? In John 10:10, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. In fact, it's one of my major papers in the University of Louvain, not of Louvain. A reflection on John 10:10. Abundant life, food, shelter, clothing, education, healthcare. Huh? China is not Christian, but that's abundant in China. No? Kaya ano eh, nakakatuwa. It's paradoxical. No? It's paradoxical. So, sabi ni Marx, the greatest criticism should be to criticize religion. Meaning, to question it, no, to subvert it, to unmask it. No? Only then that people can be liberated, and only then that people will be happy.